major feature of this transit is healing your relationship to trust. Now, how do we do that? Hey, hi, hello, Leo rising. My name is Mia Marie, and this video is all about Pluto moving through your 7th house of marriage, partnerships, contracts, legal documents, best friend relationships. It's no small feat when Pluto is traversing across one of your angular houses, meaning 1, 4, 7, and 10. These are important parts of our lives that impact, obviously, the other foundational, parts. Anyways, so let's jump into it. Pluto is a planet that wants to love you. It really does. It wants to heal you, but it's touching things that we don't want to look at. It's touching things that are broken and hurt and wounded, and that's why we tend to get obsessed, right? Wherever Pluto is, we tend to get obsessed with these things because we need that type of fixation in order to stare that thing in the eye and finally nip it in the bud. So it wants to heal you, but it's painful. What does that look like? That looks like going in for surgery. That looks like the doctor saying, great, your survival rate is so high, but you have to let me in there. And that's kind of life, saying to you, let me into this space. I'm going to cut you open. And I'm not going to lie, it's going to hurt. You're going to be uncomfortable and you're going to have to heal. There has to be a healing plan, but you'll be better afterwards. And that is an act of love, right? This is a period of time where you're recovering, and it's happening in your house of relationships. People who you look at and know, you're like, oh, you're my soulmate. Hi. This shows that over the course of your life, you have maybe adopted this detached, it's not that deep, I don't really care type of attitude towards your partner. Let's keep it light and casual. Maybe you have a history of attracting avoidant people. You get people who have an avoidant attachment style into your life, who don't really, the idea of commitment, the idea of being with someone is just terrifying. Maybe you're that individual, because that could also show up too. You are naturally gravitating towards unconventional ways of relating, which can manifest in a multitude of different ways. But there's something about that system that's broken. Maybe something about that makes you feel like a black sheep in your own relationship, or like almost like you don't belong in relationships. Like, are relationships even for me? Maybe that's the attitude that you're working with. Like you're serially, you're like continuously single. I'm not sure what it is for you, but in any case, I feel like you're thawing a frozen heart. That you will have experiences, or someone will enter your life and they will be like as warm as the sun, and they will thaw your frozen heart. And you'll start to feel like it is that deep. Holy shit. Of course I can do things by myself. I'm extremely self-sufficient, but this is what it looks like to have someone who opens the door to more, and you can be obsessed with that person or that relationship and all the attention that they give you, the validation that they give you, the support that they give you. It's almost like through your relationships, you see that you thought that you loved yourself, that you thought that you were moving with your best foot forward, but life is actually so much bigger. And you kind of want this individual around you because the healing that is being offered at this time is just so deep and liberating. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge it is Pluto. So you also will attract people who are a little controlling and possessive. Like, what do you mean you're doing that? Like, what do you mean you're not taking me with you? Like, what do you mean? And so be mindful about the territory that you're on, because you are reworking your relationship with your soulmates. And I say that as an umbrella term, not romantically. I say it in the driest way possible. True to form, like your natural soulmate. I say that in the driest way possible. A major feature of this transit is healing your relationship to trust. Now, how do we do that? Well, we begin by choosing people who are trustworthy. People who call when they say they're going to call, who show up when they promise that they'll be there, people who care about how they make you feel and care about not only your personal goals, self-promotion and self-expression, but your identity within a group of people, your chosen alliances and affiliations. This is somebody who is genuinely present and just as intense and just as on board and passionate and excited about your life as you are. That is how you choose someone who is trustworthy. You will know the difference between going out, one night, having fun, and meeting someone that you would just rather sleep with. I'm not saying that everyone that you meet, you're going to handle with gravity, with a sense of weight. People who trigger your 7th house, you look at them and you're like, oh, wait a second. I think I'm supposed to take you seriously. I think we're supposed to be in a relationship. I can't imagine taking you casually. That is the type of dialogue that we're listening to, is I want to trust you. Or just something inside me feels like I should trust you. It's not whimsical. Maybe this is my Taurus moon speaking. It's not this whimsical, like, oh, we met at 11:11, and no, bullshit. It's more like, as you're talking to them and measuring like the quality of their statements and their character, your brain is like, oh, I trust you. Pluto in the 12th, especially with my Pluto in the 12th, Pluto in the 7th, especially with my generation, Pluto is probably in your 4th house of home and family, showing that there is some kind of healing happening between the two. Pay attention to what's happening in your family right now. Maybe your family is the partner that you are having to contend with, or there's something about your family or family secrets, or you being a depository for your family's, I don't want to use the word trauma, but maybe that does you justice. I'm not sure. I don't want to like add like salad dressing in a way that's not appetizing around your family, but there's just something happening there. And then also your life philosophy, right? Am I visualizing this correctly? I am visualizing this correctly. Your house of home and family, and then also philosophy, life mission, expansion, building on that. I feel like you're making meaning of relationships, and it's all intertwined. A major switch up here. If you're in a long-term committed relationship, there is a desperate need to renew your vows, but first acknowledge, honor, and thoroughly consider who you guys are and if this relationship still aligns. It would not surprise me if there was a breakdown of a serious relationship. That is not to say that your relationship is doomed. I'm just saying that you are probably feeling, or your partner is probably behaving in a way that pulls you guys to the negotiation table, and it's like, all right, are we still doing this? Like, genuinely, like with every fiber in my being to the marrow of my bones? If not, if you're single, this is you attracting a soulmate of life saying you're ready for more. You have carried enough on your own. You've examined yourself enough. Now you're ready for this key. This person is going to act as a key that opens up this whole other side of your life. Someone who compliments you, who challenges you with this attitude of, you got this, with this attitude of, can we have an honest conversation? Like, can we actually, can we grow? Fuck, I'm out of coffee. Anyways, aside from the romantic implications of this transit, let's talk about non-romantic relationships, platonic friendships, people that you've known for decades, someone that you have looked into their eyes multiple times and you're like, thank you for having my back. Thank you for standing by me through thick and thin, for just being my soulmate in like the most platonic way. That individual might relaunch themselves in a way where you're like, oh man, this is as far as we walk. Like, we've walked together for 20 something years, and thank you. But I don't see it panning out with that type of an attitude, just because you will have the planet of war, of war and fighting and self-preservation in your sign sporadically, not throughout this entire 20-year transit, but over 20 years, Mars will be in Leo multiple times. And so for those months, you will be protecting yourself against someone who is kind of trying to penetrate you in a way that maybe even blurs the lines of your identity. And so maybe the way that this shows up is that your friend is really into something and you're not matching their intensity, and they're pissed off about it, and you guys have some like choice words or exchanges about the whole thing. What I'm saying is, and I don't want to say it because it breaks my heart, you might, I can't say it. My stomach literally growled. What I'm saying, try again. What I'm saying is that there may be moments in time where you look at someone who has been a friend and you're like, okay, thank you for your service. This is where that fork in the road comes from. And on top of that, as you venture off in your own direction, you will find people who are more aligned with who you are trying to be and what you're trying to accomplish. So this is what I got for you. This is all I got for you. Be very careful, be intentional, like stand on business when it comes to signing contracts, because who you say yes to, what contracts you sign, I can see them being very binding, very important, and a wonderful tool for self-exploration and expansion. That's what I got. Bye. You could also get married. Bye.